Hey there! So this video is going to be something that's near and dear to my heart. I studied abroad in Hong Kong last year and I had an amazing time, and I really want more people to be able to experience stuff like that. But even more specifically than that, I really want more Black people to experience stuff like that. When I went to Hong Kong to study abroad, I was the only Black person from the UT of Austin who went. And then I, of course, went around to look just to see who was from where, how was everything going. You have a huge orientation at the beginning of the year. And of that 320 exchange students that the Chinese University of Hong Kong welcomed into their fold for that semester, only 5 of us, only 5 of us were Black. Alright, so the first country I'm going to go over, obviously, Hong Kong. That's where I spent most of my time. That's where I lived. So we're going to go through that one first. So, Hong Kong it's the international city of Asia, actually. Hong Kong and Singapore probably have the most diverse races that are, there. So I really didn't have that much of a problem. Yes, again, I was stared at by people, but not really in, a really huge way. I feel like it might have just been because of my hair or my clothes or something. When I was studying abroad, my hair wasn't as natural like it is now. I had, really long braids, all the way to down here. So, that was noticeable, and not a lot of people have braided hairstyles, especially not as big and as long as mine were. So, I honestly feel like it was probably more my hairstyle or my choice of hairstyle that was oh, wow, look at that. Look at her hair. So those are usually the comments I got in Hong Kong. It was never something super wow, she's Black, because honestly there are actually a lot of Nigerian refugees that live in Hong Kong and make their money in Hong Kong and stuff like that. So I don't really feel like I was that big of a surprise. There wasn't that many, obviously, but there was enough that I feel like it wasn't that big of a problem. That coupled by the fact that there was no language barrier that was really happening in that country. So yeah, I don't really feel like Hong Kong is going to be that much of a culture shock for everybody, besides the fact that there's literally no Black people, besides if you go downtown to Lai Kwai Fong, you'll find a lot of them, but that's about it. And that's just how it is. Okay, so now we're going to move on to China. Now, again, if you go the opposite direction of Macau and you go on take the bus, you can take the train to China. The Hong Kong subway system makes a stop right in Shenzhen, China, and you can do that. During Chinese New Year, me and a few friends went, and we spent a good week there in the southern part of China, which was really fun. So that place is more of the countryside, the boonies, whatever you want to call it, the equivalent. But that's kind of the feel you're going to get there. And I don't really feel like a lot of tourists that are not from China go to the southern part of China. For me, it had a lot of appeal because I'd heard a lot about it from my roommate, and me and my friends thought it would be a nice, cheaper kind of vacation. We're broke college students. We were just let's go to Guilin and go on the river and see the famous mountains. Let's take some hikes. Let's take some walks. It's a lot more for a nature people. It's not really Beijing or Shanghai. It's not full of amazing shops or cities or anything like that. It's a really small village kind of part of China, which is probably why everything intensified there for me. The stares were crazy. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it for you. Every single person that I encountered stared at me, just stared. The pictures were intensified. We were not even in Shenzhen yet. We were getting off the train and walking along with everybody else to show our passports, all that stuff. This man in front of me had his selfie stick out. He angled it. He was I was right there in the background, and he made sure I was there. It was insane. The pictures were crazy. We rented scooters while we were in Guilin to go look at the mountains a little closer. I was on this orange scooter, scooting around and everything, and kids ran out of their houses with their phones to record me. It was crazy. I don't really feel like in southern China gets Black people at all. Honestly, it was so I was very blatantly stared at. There was a really huge language barrier for China, honestly, because everyone there speaks Mandarin, and the English is not very, it wasn't very integrated into, the southern part of China, I feel like it would be in, the other parts of China. So, yeah, my butt was stared at like hard. So like if you end up going to like those more like I guess the more secluded areas of China and/or like the less tourist locations, I feel like you're gonna have to be prepared for that. Okay, so I also went to Vietnam and Thailand and Laos. All three of them are like connected to, well, they're really close to each other. They're all in the same area. So I'm really gonna put them all three together because I took those trips like all at this, mostly at the same time. Thailand and Vietnam are amazing countries. You have to go. Like, I know you've heard of them. I know you've heard of like the stuff you can do there. Thailand has an amazing drag queen scene, and it has like an amazing, like accepting, like, well, I shouldn't say accepting, but like has amazingly open, like sort of like gay, community and everything. Like it was very amazing. It was really great. And people in Thailand are generally very dark in skin color, so I don't really feel like they were that surprised by me. A lot of people stared again, but like I still think it was because of my hair more than anything else, because like my skin wasn't really the part. Like a lot of people, of course, were like, "Ooh, I really wish I could get like to that kind of tan," and like all of them spoke English and were very like nice, and they were just like, "Wow, like I really like the tan that you got to," or something. They tried to say something of that nature in English or whatever. But honestly, I feel like the fascination was more with like my hair, like the clothes I was wearing, than it was anything like about me or my race. Because I actually saw a couple of black people like passing by in the mall and stuff like that. Like Thailand's a really touristy country, so I don't really feel like they were that surprised by me. Same thing, honestly, with Vietnam. Like Vietnam was amazing, and it was a really cool country, and I feel like their tourism is going more and more and more up. And I did find a few, I like bumped into like 2 Nigerian families that were passing by. I dumped into a few like black British families that were coming through. I feel like honestly there wasn't like a lot of, there really wasn't as many like stares or as like many like crazy situations as I had in different countries. Like again, I got asked to take pictures in both countries and everything, but it wasn't crazy. It really wasn't. Like it was pretty, that was a pretty mild, both of those were pretty mild. Laos was different though, guys. Laos was a different kind of beast. That was crazy. Laos was almost oppressive with the staring and like asking me things, and a bunch of people approached me, and it was like really overwhelming. I feel, again, that's not one I would recommend to travel by yourself. Like I feel like you should go with friends, because I had the nice buffer of like other people being around me, because they like, Laos came at me, like they were like staring, like it was crazy. I don't even know how that difference happened, because they're all so close to each other. But like, I guess maybe it's just because not a lot of people come to Laos specifically, because like Thailand's right there with like its beaches and its famous kind of city life, and then Vietnam's over here, and then Laos is like right in the middle, and maybe people just don't like approach that country as much. But like, yeah, they were surprised. I was surprised. We were all like staring at each other. It was a lot. So another trip I took was to Singapore, and then I also took a trip to Malaysia, like because they're right next to each other. Singapore is a really, really small country. It's just basically that city. It's one of the most expensive cities in the world, and I felt that in my wallet like crazy. So Singapore's a really international place as well. Like it's a city for like business, exchange of ideas, exchange of cultures, that kind of stuff. So yeah, it wasn't like, I don't really feel like I got stared at that crazily either. I also don't feel like I saw that many black people there, but like maybe that was just like the time I decided to go or something, I don't know. But yeah, there were like a lot of tourists, and obviously like their language is English, like that is their official language. Also, I believe Mandarin's also a language that they use. So it's like, it was so international that I really didn't feel like odd one out at all, really. I did get asked for some pictures. I did get asked about my hair a couple of times, but like that was, at that point it just becomes like routine to hear, honestly. And I didn't really hear it from that many people. So I feel like Singapore was very like, I feel like they're used to like different people coming in and coming to tour through. It's a very tourism like heavy place. So I didn't have a lot of problems there at all. And there was definitely no language barrier to speak of. So it was like great. Malaysia, on the other hand, was like, I mean, we rode an hour to get to Malaysia, and the difference was staggering. Like, I just got off the bus and people like mauled me with questions about my hair, my clothes. They were like, oh my God, you're so pretty. Look at your skin. It's so different. Like I got asked for pictures for the people that I rode on the bus with, like from Singapore. Like it was crazy. Like it was an immediate, like it's immediate 360 switch. Like the stairs were like insane. And it was so different. And like Malaysia, but I really did like Malaysia. I thought it was really cool. We stayed in Kuala Lumpur. It was a really cool place and everything. I feel like most of the reason why I got like all these differences is because Singapore is so close that I feel like a lot of more tourists go to Singapore than they go to Malaysia. Like honestly, I just feel like people go to Kuala Lumpur, like maybe like a lot of Asian celebrities go there to record stuff, or like a lot of rich people will probably stay at their like penthouses and everything because they have really expensive buildings and really nice domes and everything. So I feel like it's more of a celebrity thing than it is like a tourism thing. I honestly feel like I got mistaken for a celebrity like a couple of times by people there. But we had a bit of a language barrier in that country. So like I don't really know if that was exactly what happened, but like yeah. Definitely worth going to. Is just be prepared for like especially if you do a Singapore to Malaysia, like it's different. Like you're gonna be like, oh, suddenly everyone's really interested in me. What happened? Like it's good. It was like it went from like 3 days of like I'm just a normal person to like 3 days of like whoa, like it was so different. I was like okay, but yeah, like it's not that bad, but like notice that there was a difference. All right, so last but certainly not least are my 2 favorite countries that I went to in all of Asia: Japan, South Korea. Love those places. Like Japan, I mean, I took Japanese in college. I was super excited to go to Japan. I was like really, really in it, and I was ready to do that, and it was crazy, and it was so much fun, and like, please go. Like, God, if you're ever close to it, go to Japan. It's a whole different culture. Like, it ain't even just because I was black. Like, it's a whole different kind of place. Like, you gonna do a whole different kind of amounts of stuff. Wow. And then with South Korea, like South Korea is such a westernized kind of Asian country that honestly I felt like kind of right at home. Like the styles was stuff that you would see in America. Like a lot of people spoke English. All the street signs were in English and were in like Korean. Like it was both of those. Honestly, both of those were like really, really integrated and really tourist heavy cities, like countries. I don't feel like anyone was particularly surprised by us being there. I still got stared at though, for sure. Like there's still, like I'd be on the bus or going to Busan or something, or I'd be on the train in Japan, like going to different parts of Tokyo. You'd still get stared at for sure. Especially in Tokyo when I went to the onsen, it was hot air. It was like an open air hot spring bath. Definitely got stared at there. And I feel like if you ever like look anything up about the hot springs or like what happens there, like it's supposed to be like everyone in a community bath, like all naked, just all there. So yeah, for sure. I got stared at a lot there because I mean I looked nothing like these other girls. For sure. It was insane. So definitely watch out for that if that's something you want to try. You can't go into the bath with tattoos though, so like just cross it off your list if you got tattoos, or maybe see if you can find a place that will be accepting of foreigners with tattoos, because there are a few, but like I didn't really see a lot of them. So yeah, that was definitely like an experience. Like I definitely got stared at the most while I was there. And then I did get a few comments, of course, on my hair, and they were all just like, wow, those braids are really pretty, or like, whoa, so good, like that kind of stuff. Like that happened like in both countries for sure. But again, both of them were like they're very tourist heavy, so I don't really feel like I've had that many problems. I don't really feel like people were like shocked and awed by the sight of me or anything. It was more just that I was interesting or a little different than what they usually saw come into their like hotels or their stores or their restaurants, so they all felt like very interested in seeing me. And especially because I studied Japanese and I like looked up as many like Korean phrases as I could, so I tried communicating with them in their language. That was like, it was like they were really shocked, but they were also very appreciative, you know. It was like shock and appreciation at the same time. They're like, wow, like you can speak, like, oh my God, I would never have expected this from you. And I was like, right, me neither. Like it was that kind of thing. So it was really, really nice. I really enjoyed my time there.